We learned the Carolina Panthers are demoting, they're benching the former number one overall pick, Bryce Young from the 2023 draft. He has lost his stature as the starting quarterback there, and he will not be starting Week 3. The Carolina football team goes to Las Vegas. Las Vegas, Nevada, a matchup against Gardner Minshew and the Raiders. Andy Dalton, yes, that guy. Yes, he's still playing. I'm shocked too. Andy Dalton will be the new starting quarterback for your Panthers. Tickets are available. Now, I bring this up because on Sunday, Dave Canales, the head coach there, passionately defended his quarterback. Take a listen.
Bryce, our quarterback. We're going to just continue to shore up and fix the things we need to fundamentally from a scheme standpoint. All those things. These are all valuable reps. These are all valuable games. We'll learn a lot from this game, and hopefully we'll take another step this week.
Okay, less than 24 hours. You are the weakest link, is what Dave Canales told his quarterback there, deciding to bench him. Now, he claimed this was after watching film. He said he met with various personnel decision makers, people that make a lot of money to do nothing, and then he decided this is how he wanted to proceed. Now, keep in mind, NFL insiders who are fed their information from people that have an agenda, and the agenda they have is CYA, cover your ass is the agenda. So the general narrative coming out of North Carolina is the picture that is being painted as this, that Dave Canales did this without the help of ownership. This was his decision. This was not from the meddling owner. So let us discuss the question. The Panthers, through their useful idiots in the media, claiming that the head coach there, Dave Canales, acted alone. He acted alone in benching the former number one pick there, Bryce Young, for Andy Dalton. Is this possible? Is this possible? So I've got Apple Maps, United Airlines, and cosmetics. And we will combine all of these things together, and we're going to make hemorrhoids, which is what Bryce Young can now get, hemorrhoids, sitting on the bench. So, number one. In the multiverse, and I do believe in the multiverse, there is a dimension where this is possible, but not the dimension I'm in, and not the dimension you're in. We're not in that dimension because we're in the same dimension, and if you have even a rudimentary understanding of how business is done in the National Football League, in the modern world, there is 0% chance in this dimension of the multiverse that Dave Canales and Dave Canales solely made this move. No chance. No chance in my existence in the world that I'm living in. And if you look at Apple Maps, you will see the GPS is directed towards Spin City. Because spin. Now, what is my evidence? Let me give you my evidence, and you can decide. I'm going to make my case, and then you decide. You're the jury, and you decide whether I've made my case. The reason I do not believe at all that the head coach made this decision. You have a rookie head coach, a guy that nobody had ever heard of, who all of a sudden became a head coach out of nowhere. So you have that. You have a neurotic, hands-on, meddling owner. Check. It's only 2 weeks into the NFL season. Check. It's still the getting to know you stage. Now, when asked about the Gila monster in the room, Coach Canales declined to answer what role, if any, the Panthers' meddling owner, David Tepper, hedge fund guy, had in the decision to remove Bryce Young. So he wouldn't answer the question. Now, why would he not answer the question? Because whatever he said would have been used against him, because the whole point of this is, hey, I'm paying you to be my coach. I don't want this guy playing anymore, but you're going to be the one making the decision. It ain't going to be me. So you got to own it. Do whatever you want. We'll paint you as some kind of heroic coach who stood up for the locker room, but you got to bench this guy because he sucks, okay? And I don't want to be the one that's responsible for it because everyone hates me already. That's my theory. All right, so the idea that Canales did not have anything to do with this, that is bullshoy, is what that is. That is absolute, fresh, piping hot bullshoy. There's not a grain of truth in that at all. The Tepper pepper, if you will, the Tepper pepper. It's a tongue twister. That's what's behind this move. You're worth $21 billion. This guy's $21 billion. That's his net worth. David Tepper, the guy that owns the Carolina Panthers. Everything this guy has touched in the NFL, everything smells like manure. There's not anything this guy has touched that doesn't smell like manure. It's fascinating how you can be so successful in business, well, if you want to call it he does business, and then be so bad at running a football team. But here we are. And so the big picture here, Young can't play. You might like him. I know we had a very passionate call from a gentleman from Alabama, fan, the one-legged Bama man who loves Alabama football, cursed on the air, passionately defending Bryce Young. Bryce is wonderful. He's a very religious man, all that, good for him, and yeah, wonderful. Just can't play. And to continue to send him out there, it's like he won a raffle. It's like a contest. Hey, you won the raffle. He kind of did win a raffle because he was the number one overall pick in the draft. And when you're the number one overall pick, then you got to keep playing the guy to justify the pick. All right, now page 2. Turning to the player's side. Takes a couple sides here to do the tango. And they release their own narrative. The people that are invested, that have decided they are in the business of Bryce Young, those people are not looking very good right now. They apparently attached themselves to the wrong horse. They're claiming that Bryce Young was shocked that he has been benched by the Carolina football team. How is that possible? How is it possible that Bryce Young could be shocked? And the answer is it's not, unless you think Bryce Young is your typical meathead cliche football player and is the village idiot. That's the only way he could be shocked by this, right? If Bryce Young was a schmendrick, you'd say, okay, the guy's a dingleberry. He doesn't get it, and that's why. But if you follow the science of this, under any reasonable measurement, even if you've never, like our friend Lorena, who we love, right? Lorena could not pick a football from like a softball. But even she knows this guy can't play, right? Even she is aware. She doesn't know whether, as Parcells used to say, the ball's puffed or stuffed. But she knows Bryce Young ain't it, right? She's aware of that. So the check down became the first down option on every play for Carolina. It's fascinating. You talk about first read. His first read is to check down to throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage, right? And then the team started, the funniest part is the Chargers started covering. I saw some clips of this online. So the Chargers realized that all he was doing was checking down. So they started covering the check down, and then he didn't know what to do. He's like, wait, I got to throw the ball downfield, and I don't know what to do. It's wild. Bryce Young has been living what I call the United Airlines life in the NFL. He has been flying the friendly skies on the Vomit Comet since he got there. The worst number one overall pick since Jamarcus Russell. And some of the numbers, you got to go back even further, how bad this guy has been. And how bad is it? It's so bad that Andy Dalton, who's going to turn 37 in a couple of weeks, Andy Dalton in his 14th NFL season is the preferred option. And Young was a hell of a player at Alabama for Nick Saban. Wonderful player there. However, it's a different game. And the comparison, how I relate to it, it's like there's a lot of people do podcasting. Everyone's into podcasting now. And I do radio and podcasting. But it's a different skill set, right? Anybody can do a podcast. But to do live radio, right? Podcasting, you can record it anytime you want. You can go back and edit it and all that stuff. But to do it live and to have to follow the certain guidelines, it's a harder situation than just doing a podcast. Anyone can do a podcast, right? But it's a more difficult thing. It's like college football is like podcasting. Anybody can do it. Now, at a high level, sure, there's not that many people. But to do the radio thing and have that live and do it, well, he can't handle it. All right, final point. So you are now the career counselor. I have now deputized you as the career counselor for Bryce Young. You have just been fired, although you're not out of work. You're just demoted. Demoted Bryce Young. So you've lost your standing. What is your advice as the career counselor for Bryce Young? So Young, who has been historically terrible, as we have documented in this Maller monologue, he has no confidence left. No confidence. He doesn't pass the eyeball test, doesn't pass the stat test. There's no test. He looks physically too small to play, but more importantly, he plays like he's physically too small to play in the NFL, like he can't see over the line. There's no vision. There's no confidence. Everything is collapsing, right? The walls are caving in at this point. So he has backed up the hypothesis that he can't play. So with that as the standing, you must change careers. Now, you've made a small fortune, so you don't really have to do anything because these even players that are absolute busts like Bryce Young still get paid game-changing money. Good for him. Congratulations. But you have shown no signs of improvement. 18 games. Okay. Well, it's as the former coach Jerry Glanville taught me when I was a child. He said the NFL stands for not for long. If you play like that, it's not for long. 18 games is a long time. So Young has gotten statistically either he stayed the same or he's gotten worse in every category since he took over. So his future as a career counselor, his future is production meetings and cosmetics, as in ergo television. Now, we don't have any room on Benny versus the Penny, but I'm sure at the SEC network they can find a job for you. You can sit on set breaking down Georgia or Tennessee or Kentucky, or God forbid, if you do bad at that, you'll have to break down Vanderbilt. No Ole Miss or LSU, but you get the point. You get the point.